Greetings, YouTube. The Penguin Mug is here. Last weekend, my wife and I caught a showing of the animated film Rango, starring Johnny Depp. The first thing that we thought of after leaving the theater, well, there's two things. The first was that it was a really enjoyable film. We both thoroughly liked this movie. And the second is that we felt it really wasn't geared towards children. In fact, it started kind of spurred a little conversation between us on the way home about what are good films aimed at small children. So it seems a lot of the small children films available in the market today are just dumb. I realize they're aimed at a young audience, but it seems that they're also just stupid. So we were a little disappointed with that. But we both did like this film. And as I arrived at home, it occurred to me what this film reminded me of, and that is Galaxy Quest. Now, if you've seen my Galaxy Quest review, Galaxy Quest did a really difficult thing. It balanced homage, satire, and legitimate story all at the same time. It juggled these things, and it succeeded. And in that same way, I think Rango did the same thing. It is an homage to Westerns. It is a satire of Westerns. It is a legitimate story in its own right. And it pulls all of these off. So, the story of Rango is a story of a lonely lizard living in a tank. He gets separated from his owners and finds himself stranded in the desert. To this point, he is nameless. He's without a defined character, because in his solitude he has turned to acting to keep himself sane. He takes on numerous roles, talking to the objects inside the tank with him: a tree, a torso from a doll, a little wind-up fish, which you'll see in the poster for this. He's holding the wind-up fish, and he creates these elaborate storylines because that's how he copes. Well, when he suddenly finds himself in the desert, he now has an audience. And that's exactly how he sees it. He finds himself thrust into the world of the town of Dirt. Yes, the town's name is Dirt. An Old West town. So he assumes the role of a Western hero. He becomes the sheriff. Because this is the role he thinks that people will most easily accept him as. Of course, he's not a sheriff. He has no experience whatsoever in this particular job. He never had to really talk to anyone in his life before unceremoniously being lost in the desert. And it isn't until the storyline pushes him into the direction of finally having to face who he is, much like in Galaxy Quest, where the main character has to realize, I'm just an actor. I'm not the hero. And it is at that moment when he dons the mantle of hero and becomes one. And Rango has a moment of introspection where he actually communes with the spirit of the West. And I'm not going to spoil who they used to represent the spirit of the West, but they nailed it spot on. I was quite pleased. And it is when he finally strips himself of his ego completely and opens himself up to what he needs to be, both for himself and for the people that he has become involved in, that Rango becomes a hero. And of course the rest of the film plays itself out from there. Now, like I said, I really like this. There's one thing I do have to mention. The animation is astounding. It isn't just because it's good. It is uniformly good throughout the entire film. It's because it's a style I don't think I've ever seen before. It's not the animal realism that we saw in Narnia, which were very much real animals that spoke, as they looked like ordinary real-world animals. No. The characters in Rango are anthropomorphic. They stand up, they walk around, they act like people, but they're animals. So there's a cartoon element, but there's a hyper-realism about them. You see their hairs move, you see their scales flex, and it just seems like they're real, live, living creatures in the context of the film. And I thoroughly enjoyed the way they pulled this off. It was just a lot of fun. I would love to see this team do other films using this technique, because I think it would be just wonderful, really and truly. So if you like Johnny Depp, and he is great in this, drawing on a number of influences I saw there besides westerns, were kind of like a Jerry Lewis thing, and a little Bob Hope road trip kind of thing in there. If you like Johnny Depp, and you like animation, and you love westerns, this is definitely a movie I suggest you see. I definitely going to pick this up on DVD when I get the opportunity, because I really want to hear the commentary, regardless of who's making it. I want to know about how they made this film.